So I'm on my way to do some filming, and I started seeing smoke, and I was kind of like, is that a grass fire? But that doesn't look like a grass fire to me. But then again, it doesn't look like there's any buildings on fire back there, so I don't know what's going on. Pretty interesting, though. Interesting start to the episode anyways, nonetheless. So I believe we're in Delafield, and this place has been here forever, and you always see it off the freeway. So the freeway is right over there. That's 94 behind this building, I-94, going from Milwaukee to Madison and all other points, then south. So they have toys, candy, fudge, fishing. So the Smiley Barn, but the thing about the Smiley Barn is it's actually a smiling barn. If we turn here, there it is. The Smiling Barn. For a while they took that down though, didn't they?
Yes.
Mrs. Yogi's with me. Yeah, so they didn't have the Smiley Barn on the Smiley Barn for a while, but now it's back to being the Smiley Barn again. This is like a big area right by where 94 and Highway 83 at the intersections, and there's a lot of stuff here. This has been built up pretty big. There's a crumble cookie. There used to be on the right here on the other side of the freeway a little mountain for skiing and little ski hill. That's long gone.
Winter Haven.
Winter Haven, says Mrs. Yogi, was the name of it. That is all built up now into shops and stuff like that. We're going to take a trip down memory lane for Mrs. Yogi. We're going to where she grew up. We're heading into Wales, Wisconsin. That'll be our first stop. Wales, Wisconsin. It's a village in Waukesha County, first settled by Welsh immigrants. As of 2020, population is 2862. The racial makeup of the village is 97.9% white, 0.4% African American, 0.2% Native American, 0.5% Asian, 0.1% Pacific Islander, and 0.2% from other races, and 0.7% from 2 or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 1.8 of the population. Unfortunately, there's no notable people from here. Well, there is actually. My wife, Mrs. Yogi, is from Wales. She grew up here.
But I was born in Milwaukee.
Yeah, she was born in Milwaukee, raised in Wales. So this is their downtown area. As far as the history goes, Welsh immigrants settled in the village of Wales in 1840. The remains of Welsh history can be seen in the village's flag that replicates the Welsh national flag. Now that right there, that was the
Village Hall.
Didn't they have a train depot? Or is that it right there?
Right there.
Okay. So the train depot's right there. And
that was a little corner store.
So right there is the wooden bridge. You used to be able to drive over it, but not anymore. And they have a little sign here that says Wales. The wooden bridge was built between 1880 and 1882 until the Chicago Northwestern Railroad decided to build a rail line. This Welsh settlement had no village center even though a village had been platted for years. The coming of the railroad prompted the sudden creation of the village of Wales. This bridge marks the highest point between Milwaukee and Madison. Really? Wow. Engineers had to make a deep cut in the glacial landscape at this point to create a sufficiently gentle grade for the trains. Most of the earth was removed by men and horses pulling slip scrapers, which was a most strenuous and exhausting job for man and beast. Horses died of sheer exhaustion or had to be put down because of broken legs or other injuries. A depot was erected in 1881, and its first passenger train arrived on February 1st, 1882. The depot closed in 1959 and was dismantled in 1964. The Glacial Drumlin Trail, owned by the state of Wisconsin, comes through the village, and the railroad heritage is evident where the wooden bridge crosses the trail in a long, sweeping, scenic double reverse curve. The wooden bridge is a focal point to the cut and a surprise as you walk around the curve down the recreation trail. So real quick, we're just going to go down here for a second. So I guess this is a trail here now down below. The railroad is no longer in service. Oh yeah, I hear people on the trail. Ooh, that's far down there. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty far. Yogi's not a fan of heights, so this is kind of freaking me out a little bit. But there you go. I hope I don't lose my camera. Huh. Obviously, this isn't the original bridge. It can't be. Because this is made with like plastic. But the original bridge, I remember driving over this original bridge back in when my wife and I first started dating back in the early 90s. It's been around forever in Wales and is still operational. This is called LeDuc's. You know what? We're going to get something. Well, I'm going to get something. I don't know. I hope Mrs. Yogi's hungry because I am. Do something for lunch at LeDuc's. All right. So I've never gotten pickles with a chili dog before. So, Mrs. Yogi and I ordered from LeDuc's in Wales, Wisconsin. I ordered the cheese chili dog. So there it is. I don't think I've ever had food from LeDuc's before either. You know, the hot dogs are probably cooked in water. I'm not a fan of hot dogs cooked in water. The chili is okay. I mean, it's not bad. It was $3.49. This is the Delafield Brew House root beer they carry here at LeDuc's. It's pretty tasty. This is their Sloppy Joe sandwich. Looks like Sloppy Joe. This was cheaper than the chili dog. This was like $2.39 or something. And then going in. They call it the barbecue / Sloppy Joe. Unless my chili dog ruined it, there's not a whole lot of flavor. How was LeDuc's chili dog and barbecue sandwich? Barbecue / Sloppy Joe sandwich. The Sloppy Joe was okay. They didn't have a lot of flavor. I mean, for $2.39, it was fine. The chili dog was okay, probably better than the barbecue sandwich. The hot dog itself, like I said before, I'm not a fan of hot dogs that are sitting in water. To me, it kind of loses flavor when you let them sit in water. But the chili sauce was pretty good. I mean, it's not very often you get I get a chili dog that has beans in it. So I would probably, if I was to stop here again, I would probably try something else on the menu altogether. But if I would pick one of the two of those items again, I would get the chili dog. So LeDuc has very good custard, though. Mrs. Yogi is enjoying her blueberry shake right now. And we're going to continue on this little trip in Wales, Wisconsin. So this little building here, back in 1994, used to be a Bank One building. This is at the intersection of Highway 18 and 83. It is currently nothing. It is just an abandoned building. Thursday, April 28th, 1994, two men, a father and son, they actually robbed this bank and they fled towards Waukesha. Officers were obviously in pursuit, and there were camera crews too that actually filmed the shootout. One officer was killed, Captain James Lutz. They abandoned their car and then fled on foot after the shootout. They actually carjacked another car and fled. They were forced to abandon their second car when they turned down a dead-end road. They fled on foot and broke into a house where they had held a female homeowner hostage. The suspects then forced the female to drive them in her van in another escape attempt. As the van approached the police checkpoint, this is where it was being filmed, at the checkpoint, the suspects and the police exchanged gunfire, and the female hostage was able to jump free from the van. The suspects were able to get about 300 yards from the roadblock before crashing the van, and they were taken into custody. They were convicted of murder and both sentenced to life in prison. So unfortunately, there was one fatality, and that was Captain James Lutz from the Waukesha Police Department. But I do remember seeing the footage of the shootout as it was happening on TV. They came up to this roadblock, and all of a sudden shots got fired, and you pop, 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 and all of a sudden you saw the van kind of lose control and then crash. That was crazy, but that happened here back in 1994 in Wales, Wisconsin. So that's it right there on the corner. That's where my wife, Mrs. Yogi, spent her time as a teenager.